We are all aware of the devastating wildfires down in Australia, and one local organization is doing their part to support the preservation and restoration of wildlife. Joining us is Sean Anderson-Vai with his four-legged friend MOCA, and they're with the Morris Animal Foundation. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us back.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Morris Animal Foundation?
Yeah, sure. So we've been around for more than 70 years now. We're located right here in Denver. But we are a global leader in supporting animal health studies, so studies for the benefit of animals. So in a nutshell, what we do is we raise money and fund scientists all around the world to conduct studies for the benefit of animals. So everything from developing vaccines and finding cures for cancers, making surgical technique advancements, those kind of things.
No, absolutely. So do you want to tell us a little bit about MOCA? MOCA's just taking a little...
Yeah, she's food motivated, so let me make sure
She's chilling, taking a look at the studio.
Yeah, sure. So MOCA is a 9-year-old Australian Shepherd. She is a rescue, and her mom works at Morris Animal Foundation. One of the nice things about working at Morris Animal Foundation is we can bring dogs to the office, and I always like to say that they are a good reminder of what we're working for, to make life better for animals like MOCA.
Well, not to gloss over it, you mentioned it a little bit, but can you give us a few examples of some of the studies you guys have done?
Sure, yeah. Well, one of the big studies we run out of our own offices. It's the Golden Retriever Lifetime Study, and what we do is we follow more than 3,000 Goldens from around the country to find any correlations we can between their genetics, how they're living, what they're eating, those kind of things, and cancer and other diseases that might afflict them. So even though it's focused on golden retrievers, we do think that it can actually benefit animals, breeds like MOCA's, Australian Shepherd, or even humans, because we share a lot of the same experiences.
No, absolutely. The fires in Australia have just been absolutely devastating. You have a great announcement about helping those animals, though, over there. What is that?
Yeah, so we are allocating $1 million to research grants to find how those fires and future fires affect their native species. So we want to find out, get to the bottom of long term, what does this mean for those animals that are facing these problems?
You guys are actually doing something a little different than a lot of other organizations are doing, really to give immediate action. What is that?
So we understand there's an absolute need for boots on the ground now, but we feel that our role as a research foundation should be to find out, again, the long-term consequences of these fires. And again, we think these fires are going to be an annual thing, so we want to find out everything that will happen next year, years down the road.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what some of that research might entail?
We don't know quite yet. So we're taking input from a lot of scientists around the world, and definitely some folks in Australia. But just to guess, we could talk about studies that might look into smoke inhalation, burn care, especially for species that there's just not a lot of information about.
Absolutely.
And we could even look at some studies that would focus on how to repopulate certain species that have been so badly afflicted.
Now, have you guys done anything like this before?
So yes, we have in the past. We have what's called, and I want to make sure I get the title right, the Betty White Wildlife Rapid Response Fund. So that is meant to give timely monetary aid to researchers in the wake of big things like natural disasters and stuff like that. I'm sure you remember the Deepwater Horizon spill about a decade ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so when that happened, one example of what we did is we funded studies into how that impacted dolphins, and we found that they actually had lung lesions that needed looking at. Yeah.
And quickly, you have a history in Australia, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we've been working in Australia. We've been funding studies in Australia for about 2 decades now, looking at species like kangaroos and Tasmanian devils and koalas. Koalas, in fact, we had a big announcement last year where scientists discovered that koalas that have already been suffering from chlamydia, which is similar to what humans get, but they just get it far worse. They are suffering because of that. And scientists we funded last year discovered what they believed was the last healthy isolated population of koalas. And that was supposed to help, until the fires, help their species.
Well, help Morris Animal Foundation by making a gift to its wildlife research program, which supports all their wildlife research, including grants directed to help Australian species. You can make your donation online, morrisanimalfoundation.org, by calling 800-243-2345. That's going to do it for us. Have a wonderful weekend, folks.